When I was little, I was taught a rhyme. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Wrong. Words can be used to assault us and cut us through like knives. We have to be so careful about the words we speak out. Why? Because the tongue has the power of life and death. Welcome to Morning Tea. Hi, I'm Joanne Jolee, and I'm so glad you found this channel. Just a sip of inspiration to lift your spirit. So I got this question from someone in my 12-week transformative program, and she said, "Hi Joanne, I find myself slipping back to my old habit of saying denigrating things about myself. Many times I say things that are so negative and I don't even really mean what I'm saying. Do you have any tips to help me stop doing this?" That is a great question, and it's a fact. Old habits die hard. But it is so critical to a successful life to control what comes out of our mouth. And our speech should always be evolving as we grow and we mature. Our words are the overflow of processes going on 1,000,000 miles a minute in our heart and our mind. So, of course, it takes some real effort to just stop that negative flow, to step back, take a deep breath and get control. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. Now there's a truth to meditate on. Let that one just sink in. And it's going to be an excellent start to transforming our lives with either life-giving words or crushing words. And if we will truly consider the end result of our words, it's going to provide some incentive to think before we open up our mouths. And I also think it's really important here to note that too many people have bought into this popular and quite pagan idea that we can speak to the universe and manifest some sort of reality that we want. We can't. This is God's world. Things ultimately are going to go His way. But He has given us some degree of power in our words. You have to remember, He created the universe with words. He spoke, and it was. So all words have impact and weight. And the things that we speak contribute to a harvest. Healthy, unhealthy, after a season of us cultivating it, tending the body of the weight of the words. Now let's think about that, the weight of words. Here's some words from a situation I had a couple of years ago. I was at a routine medical checkup and the doctor found something nasty that I wasn't even aware of, and he immediately ordered a biopsy. So I waited in trepidation, you can imagine, for the results, and I finally got that message to call the office. Now, if the words that he spoke to me were, "I'm so sorry to tell you this, but it is the terminal cancer we feared," the weight of those words, the meaning and the force behind them would have been devastating. I would have been crushed. Game change, maybe game over. Conversely, if the doctor was to say, "Results are negative, nothing to worry about, we'll see you next year," well, those words would have been, those were the words, and I just felt immense joy. I felt thankful relief, and I just got this burst of energy, renewed energy to go even harder with all my plans. And of course, we all remember from childhood those cutting words that stayed with us for so many years, perhaps until this day, and we know they weren't true now, but the damage was done. And likewise, we remember the most simple words of encouragement spoken to us in a time we needed to hear those words for strength, maybe for correction if someone who loved us was going to warn us that we're going down a wrong path. The words of the reckless pierce like swords, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Now, there is a concept of taming the tongue, because our words can be like wild animals. And I really love the analogy of our tongues being like the rudder of the yachts that I sail. The little rudder is small compared to the size of the massive boat, and it directs it and it controls the entire vessel. And that's what our words are like. They direct our lives. They head us in the direction that we have been considering and thinking about, and then we speak out. In the same way, the tongue is like a spark that can set an entire forest on fire. We can ignite our lives into flames and burn ourselves down with our words. I really love this example of the importance of right words with Zechariah, who is the father of John the Baptist. So in this story, the angel Gabriel appeared with an incredible message for Zechariah, and he didn't believe the words of God's angel. And Zechariah said, "How can I be sure of this?" And he went on to explain to Gabriel how old he was and how old his wife was and how she was beyond childbearing years and so forth. Those words were spoken in unbelief. And with the arrival, the very important arrival of this man to prepare the world for the coming Messiah, well, those faithless words would have had a bad impact, so God shut him down for his wife's entire pregnancy. And when he finally received back his speech at John's birth, he had had some time, no doubt, to think about things. And he clearly had had a change of heart and mind, and what flowed out of him this time was a magnificent song of prophetic praise, not a hint of doubt about anything anymore. This is such an exciting story. You find it in the first chapter of Luke, written by Dr. Luke, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So this leads to the first important tip, and I address this in my book. It is to simply be quiet. Don't speak the words. Don't let your tongue light yourself into flame, burn you down, destroy your dreams, get you into trouble. Just stop talking. Even if you're thinking derogatory things about yourself and about other people, don't say them. It's like a stream of dirty water that needs to be refreshed. Have you ever been around a person you don't know who seems to be smart, intelligent, or very nice and sweet, and then they open their mouths and they speak and they come across so badly? Even a fool, when he is silent, people will think he's wise. So tip number 2, identify the pattern. Examine yourself. See what triggers these words of death that you commonly use. Often they're emotionally charged situations in our relationships. So it's going to take some planning. You're going to have to arm yourself with a different set of words. You know, if you're saying things like, I'm such a failure, and it's nothing, and it's never, and it's nobody, and when you say those words, they are self-fulfilling prophecies, because if you truly believe that it's nothing and it will never, you have no incentive, no reason to actually act, so nothing is exactly what happens. So here's a great list of things to think upon, words of life, things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, things that are excellent, things that are praiseworthy. And I think to get a better understanding of that list, we could just turn it around and say it in the opposite. Do not think on things that are false, profane, improper, dirty, horrible, disgraceful, things that are inferior, things that are reprehensible. And the most important reason to control our tongues is that God is recording everything we're saying. He's going to ask us to give an account for what we said. Who are we blessing or hurting with the power of our words? I want to hear from you. I want you to write in the comment section below your thoughts on controlling our tongues, on speaking words that give life, not death. I certainly needed to be reminded of this, and I hope it was helpful to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Joanne Jolee. This is Morning Tea. I'm here every week, and I want to remind you this week, look for the blessings. They are all around you. Bye-bye.